Okay, welcome to this video on Geometry Review Target number 5. This video is going to deal with polygons and quadrilaterals and everything associated with them. What I'd like you to do first of all is move down to the notes section so we can talk a little bit about polygons. Polygons are shapes that have three main pieces: exterior angles, interior angles, and when they're regular, central angles. What you'll notice about polygons is that all the exterior angles add up to 360 degrees. So you'll see some algebraic problems that involve adding those all up and setting them equal to 360 and solving for x. And then also, if you ever need to find a single interior angle, you could use this formula here that tells you the total of those interior angles added up by simply taking the number of sides minus 2 times 180. Being that this is a pentagon, you could take 5 minus 2 times 180 and you get 540 degrees. If I took 540 degrees and divided by 5, each of these would individually be 108 degrees. If I were to try to find the exterior angle, I could take the number of sides that I have here, which is 5, and divide it into 360. That answer would equal 72. But if you take the 72 and the 108 together, the exterior and the interior together, you'd get the 180 degrees, and notice that they're always supplementary. When it's a regular polygon, you have to recognize that all the sides and the angles are going to be congruent. In that case, whenever you see a regular polygon, you're going to notice that the central angle and the exterior angle are going to always be congruent. So if I know this one, I'll always know the central angle, and if I know the central angle, I'll always know the exterior because they're always the same. All right, moving on down to these quadrilaterals. There's a lot to say about each one, but I'll just highlight some of the main big ideas of each of these that are typically used in algebra-type problems. When you see the diagonals of a parallelogram, first of all, they're defined as two pairs of parallel sides, where the sides that are opposite each other are parallel. But they also have diagonals that cut each other in half into two equal pieces. But also notice that this diagonal is not the same length as this diagonal here, as these become closer and those are farther away. Rectangles, you're going to notice rectangles have, by definition, four congruent angles that are all 90 degrees. Their diagonals are also special. They are going to be the same length. They also cut each other in half and make four equal pieces inside them. Looking at squares, what makes them a little bit even more special is they're a rectangle that has four equal sides, which then makes it a rhombus. And its diagonals are going to be not only the same length and cutting each other in half, but they're also going to be perpendicular. Next, if I look at rhombi or rhombuses, you have four sides all the same length. What makes them special is their diagonals cut the angles in half, even though they're both congruent and both opposite angles. But they cut each other in half. They cut the angles in half. They not only cut the angles in half, they cut their segment lengths in half as well. But also notice that this length right here is not the same length as this as they become closer on the skinnier side that you see there. Trapezoids, what makes them special is they have one unique pair of parallel sides, creating the same side interior angles like we saw in the previous target, which then means that those two angles have to add up to 180 degrees. When you see isosceles trapezoids, their diagonals are going to be the same length, and they're going to always then have two shorter pieces that are congruent and two bigger pieces that are congruent of their diagonals. The base angles, these two ones on the bottom that you see here, are going to be always congruent in isosceles, and these upper two ones will also be congruent. Makes them special. And these sides, as you can see, are going to also be congruent in isosceles trapezoids. Looking at the last one, if you look at kites, they're going to typically have two congruent angles that are opposite each other. These other two will never match each other. But you will have, by definition, two congruent sides that are consecutive, two pairs of consecutive sides that are congruent in a kite. The diagonals also, notice that they make 90 degrees when they cross each other. That's some of just the basic information you want to know about quadrilaterals and polygons, and you want to make sure that you can use those ideas as you try to approach the warm-up questions on the left-hand side. Good luck, and hopefully this video helps.